My name is Mary Martin, and I'm running for re-election for Wards 13-14 for Calgary Catholic. I'm looking for the opportunity to serve another 3 years as a trustee. I'm just completing my first term as trustee, and I found it to be one of the best experiences of my life. I came into this role, I became interested in this role as a trustee on the heels of bringing 4 children up through the Calgary Catholic school system and seeing firsthand the work and just a magnificent work ethic and miracles that you see in the classroom every day. As my children progressed, my involvement became more sophisticated to chairing school councils at the K-9 level, the high school level, and sitting on task forces. And that allowed me a more sophisticated view of what goes on both at the board level and the senior administrative level, and the impact that decisions made well or otherwise has on the front lines. And when the opportunity came, when my kids were old enough and an opportunity came to run on the board, I grasped that opportunity, and I've been so pleased that it's just been a privilege to serve. If I'm a nurse, I've been working as a nurse since 1983 in Calgary in labor and delivery, and when I decided to run, I had to ask myself what business a nurse had doing this. And the answer came to me in a variety of ways, and I am so sure that I'm in the right place as a result of my work as a nurse. You know, nursing, like education, is public sector. So you're at the front lines, as teachers and support staff are, trying to deal with inadequate infrastructure, struggling with funding, trying to do the best you can for the people that you're responsible for. You know, same problems, different arena. And, you know, my work as a labor and delivery nurse in particular has prepared me really well for this, because I'm working with a family as they're bringing the most important thing in their lives into this world. And just as teachers are responsible for the most important thing in a family's life. So, you know, there are so many similarities. You know, nurses and educators are advocates by nature of their jobs. We're scrappers. And I've developed a knack for that, and I hope I can do it with some diplomacy. But my past experiences have led me, I think, really well and lent themselves well to the position I'm in now. There are, specific to my role as a trustee within Calgary Catholic, there would be 3 issues, I think. And, you know, you could start with funding, but you wouldn't stop there. You know, you're going to hear funding across the board, and we all struggle. You know, we all know that the province right now is in a difficult spot, and we want to support them as they get themselves forward. And on the other hand, we're pressured to do the very best we can for our kids. So funding is critical, infrastructure is critical for Calgary. We're a young city here, and we're bringing in lots of young families, which are vital and terrific for the long term, but we want to make sure that we can serve them well in schools that are going to give the kids the best opportunities. And lastly, I think an issue for any metro board in Calgary is the increasing complexity of the student mix. You know, when you're working for when you're looking at a large metro board, we have populations of students that really have unique needs. We've got families who have kids with special needs, tend to congregate in the urban centres because that's where the specialized help is. You've got our ESL population, our second language population, the new arrivals to Canada, tend to come to the large rural or urban centres as well because of what's available for them. It used to be 19%, now we're considerably higher. In some of our schools, we're over 50% ESL population, and we've got to do the very best we can because they're our future, and we have to be able to provide opportunities for them that are equal, that put everybody on a level playing field. I think that to the credit of Alberta Education, they're engaging in some terrific initiatives. One of them is setting the direction, and that's been a provincial dialogue that's taken place over the last couple of years that's looked at everything we offer to our special needs kids, everything from coding to wraparound services to how people can access services in a timely way from a variety of geographical points and a variety of departmental points, so that every child, regardless of where you are in Alberta, has access to services that are going to make them the most successful that they can be. This is an ongoing process, and the report has just been released in a preliminary form, and we'll be working with it more, but it's quite groundbreaking in what it offers. And as a trustee, you want to support that. I've been particularly active in a number of in all of the provincial initiatives that look at making education better for our kids, and setting the direction was one of them. Inspiring education is another one, and that has led to Inspiring Action, which is a dialogue that's going to continue over the summer that continues the story. And finally, the opening of the School Act as well, because it hadn't been opened in many years, and it was time, and we're looking at retooling it. The provincial legislation that governs how schools work, and Minister Hancock has said everything's up for reevaluations, and it's courageous, and hats off to him. And this has been monumental work, and we're expecting, and because of the work and because of the integration of these other initiatives, what was going to be tabled this fall looks like it's going to be tabled in the legislature in the spring, which is fine, because the impact of this is going to be, I think, profound and really exciting for education in Alberta. I think it was critical for me as a trustee to be part of that, and I was. And if you're looking at how to be effective as a trustee when you're advocating for your kids, it's making sure you're at all of those conversations. And that's where the time and the effort is, but it's so satisfying. And I believe that that's been pivotal in helping us make an impact. I've spent the first 3 years in my initial term as a trustee developing capacity, developing effective relationships with a variety of stakeholders, with provincial groups that are the voice of publicly funded education in Alberta. I've served as a director for the last 3 years for the Alberta Catholic School Trustees Association. I'm in my first year now as a director for the Alberta School Boards Association, which represents the 62 boards. And that's given me, I believe, a tremendous opportunity and to communicate, to develop my own capacity, and to advocate for education in Calgary. Another thing that I do that I think is particularly useful is I've integrated my work as a nurse into some provincial initiatives specific to health and schools. And one of them that is really interesting is the Alberta Coalition for Healthy School Communities. And I serve as a trustee rep within that group, and it's dealing with education in kids and recognizing that kids don't learn in isolation, that you have to be able to deal with resiliency and bullying and mental health issues, that kids need to be healthy physically, they have to be active, and you need to have nutrition. And when you can integrate all of that, we all know that test scores and achievement go up when kids are happy and well fed. So it's a really unique use of my background and my interest in education. And I'm hoping people vote for me because they're going to recognize that I've set the groundwork for some terrific things to come, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity.